The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hooray for Hollywood, where stars are living large, in mansions with their servants and their credit cards in charge, with fame that's fleeting, but the egos never change, where everyone's a genius, except the ones who really arrange. Hooray for Hollywood, where the scandals always sell, where every whispered secret is a new tabloid's tell. Oh, how we adore the endless red carpet galore. Hooray for Hollywood, where less is always more.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to a Radulich Broadcasting premiere podcast, Damn You Hollywood. And here's your host, Robert Winfrey. Yay.
Yeah, I'm going to apologize in advance, everybody. All of us are a little bit. We wound up doing this movie for lack of anything better to do in the movie front. But this is not inspiring a tremendous amount of confidence or intrigue or whatnot. So this is Damn You Hollywood. Tonight we are talking about Mercy. I'm Robert. You heard Mark. Joining us today is Jason Teasley. How you doing, Jason?
I'm freezing currently because we have the winter apocalypse still growing through West Virginia, and it's currently snowing and 8 degrees.
Jason, are you in danger of being deported by ICE?
No, I'm safe from getting killed because I stay home and don't go out and fuck with people.
Good. You haven't pulled a gun or tried to run over an ICE agent?
Or have I picked up a flash grenade and had a finger blown off?
It's good.
That happened today.
These are all safe ways to not get killed by ICE. Speaking of ICE, Mercy is a 2020. It's a 2026 American science fiction action thriller directed by the monster that directed Ben-Hur, Timur Bekmambetov. Bite my dick off. Written by Marco van Belle and produced by Charles Roven and Bekmambetov. The film stars Chris Pratt, who's in everything these days, along with Pedro Pascal.
That's not true, and you know it.
A unfortunate Rebecca Ferguson, Kylie Reis, Annabelle Wallis, Chris Sullivan, and Kylie Rogers. Mercy was released in the United States by Amazon MGM Studios Pornhub on January 23rd, 2026. The film received negative reviews from critics. Wait till you see the Rotten Tomatoes audience score versus critic score. It is why we do this.
I'm sure the difference is relatively stark, despite this being a pretty bad movie.
Jason, other than to raise my blood pressure and push me into an early grave, for which I am grateful for, please push harder. Why are you here?
To prevent blue-haired lesbians that love no, because I actually.
You better be nice. You better be nice. She's in like a throuple with Jesse and Robert, and they don't like it when you make fun of their girlfriend.
And I still don't give a fuck.
Robert will get you with his jujitsu. See, what's funny there is I did that joke a little ways back, and then Robert had to do like a 20-minute soliloquy about how it's not jujitsu, it's taekwondo. But who gives a fuck?
It's not taekwondo either, but okay.
God damn it! Which one is it? Kenpo.
You know what? No, I'm not going to tell you.
American Kenpo.
Yeah, okay.
Hey. On a side note,
I was close. Taekwondo and Kenpo are right next to each other on the Chinese menu. Continue, Jason.
I'm actually got a coworker trying to get me into BJJ, so that's a fun thing. No,
he wants to roll around with you on the mat in pajamas.
Yes, okay. And he's pretty badass. He's a nice little kid. No, but I was actually intrigued by this movie. I mean, because it mirrors a lot of. I've seen that it's mirroring a lot of today's society, except just from the digital front, because everything online, you get people that become judge, jury, and executioner online, and so they don't actually execute, and they go out and do it themselves by interfering with police activity or federal activities and stuff. they execute themselves.
It's gonna be one of those podcasts, just sarcasm. Hey, Robert, what is the term for the kind of movie this is? And don't say crap before I completely lose my patience. It was the same. It was the same term, and I'm going somewhere with this. War of the Worlds was the same thing, and there was a specific term that was used.
Something to do with screens.
Yeah, it was like yes. I can't remember what it was. I'm actually surprised.
Oh, hang on, I'll look it up.
But let me go back to Jason while you're doing production work. Jason, have you seen War of the Worlds yet with Ice Cube?
Oh hell no! It's horrible.
Screen life.
Yeah.
Why,
so this is
why would I want to watch it?
Well, no.
I mean,
I'm asking because as a basis of comparison. I'm not saying you should, but it was free. It was on Amazon, and it was, wildly panned. So people kind of hate watch stuff. Not unless who gave it an earnest viewing and were very sorry for it. So it was another.
I've never seen a movie want to be riff tracked so hard in my life. Like that was the actual point behind it. Was the riff tracks for this will be good.
So I'm asking because, like I said, this does the screen life thing slightly better.
You and I could make a screen life movie slightly better than that one.
Right. And I will say this before we get into the plot of this. I think in terms of screen life movies, this one actually I think handled it well. It's mostly Chris Pratt talking to Rebecca Ferguson in a chair, but they cut away from it often enough because they're using a lot of like holodeck type imagery. It's not as static as poor old man Ice Cube staring dumbfounded at his Macintosh. So, is there another? Have you seen any other like screen life movies, Jason, to compare this to?
I'm trying to think. I don't really.
Was it Unfriended one?
I was going to say maybe like Unfriended or Dark Web.
Okay, because this same director did Unfriended. That's why it occurred to me.
Yeah, I would say probably Unfriended or Dark Web would probably be the closest in that vein. So yeah, because I mean, especially the first Dark Web. So yeah, I mean that pretty much mirrors it, where everybody's just talking on a screen and through. I know that during COVID there was a movie that came out.
It was Lockdown. You and I reviewed it. That's the one with the broad from Chris Nolan's Batman, Dark Knight Rises, and the brother from Doctor Strange. I don't know actors' names anymore. I just know.
You just know other
Your slow morphing into Homer Simpson, Mark, is continuing because you're this far away from writing letters to movies.
Did you watch The Simpsons?
Hey, Mad Max, Die Hard.
I am this close to being that guy. I saw a clip on TikTok of I guess that The Simpsons in the future yet again, and Bart's driving, Lisa has braces, and Maggie actually talked.
Yeah, they did one of those episodes. I think they had Lindsay Lohan voice Maggie in that one.
That's funny.
It sparked a bit of a discussion in the Simpsons community about, you know what? Can we have the discussion at this point that they should have just let the characters age by now?
Yeah, considering it's 30 years old.
They're older. They're almost as old as I am. I'm 40.
You're not, aren't you? You're as old as Melissa. Melissa's 41.
I turned 40 late last year.
Oh, okay. So you'll be 41 this year. Got it.
Yep.
Old man Winfrey. Okay, I'll be 50 in June.
Hey, I'm creeping up on 50, so.
And there I am, like Scrooge McDuck, staring before the lonely grave, going, "Kick me in."
You're a grave, Scrooge.
Yay! Sweet release. All right.
The sweet release of death will not come for you, Mark.
All righty. I'm sure Jason has a hot date, so why don't you make with the plot there, Monkey Boy?
And we can get through this hopefully fairly quickly. So Chris Pratt awakens strapped to a chair, like you do after a night of heavy drinking. I'm sure Mark ain't been there, brother.
I wish it was that kind of movie. Like, what am I doing here? You're gonna find out, Chris Pratt. Teach you to be in movies. Oh, heavens to Betsy.
Mark, you and I have to review Deliverance one of these days, just because I need you to.
I've seen it, and I've actually made that.
I know, no, like,
right,
but you and I need to review it.
Okay, I'm gonna put a triple feature together of Deliverance, The Deer Hunter, and something else from like that era of filming, maybe Dog Day Afternoon, and you and I will. And you and I will do that. Oh, Jason has a. Hang on, we can handle this right now. Jason owes us a bet.
Yeah, I do.
So I say we make Jason do a triple feature of Dog Day Afternoon, Deliverance, and The Deer Hunter.
Okay, I have no issue with 2 of those movies.
Is it the one with the ass fucking? Yes,
if you wanted, Mark, if you wanted to do this right, you like the first 2 you'd have to do are Deliverance, and then I Spit on Your Grave, and the third one would be like Last House on the Left or something like that.
Why do you take something that I think is going to be fun and ruin it?
I would say Taxi Driver.
Robert's going to do the plot synopsis. I'll figure this out, but I'll put this
on.
We'll
hash this out at some point in the future.
No. I'm just going to put it on there, Robert. First of all, I don't often say this, and truth be told, if you wanted to say no, you would. But for the most part, you're kind of my bitch. And whatever I put on the schedule with your name on it, you're going to do anyway. And this one's so fucking needy and wants to be on a show so badly that whatever I tell him to do, he'll do, and then complain endlessly afterwards. So I'm going to go put together this triple feature, and you're going to do the plot synopsis. Take 2.
So Chris Pratt wakes up from a hangover and a blow to the head, tied to a chair. And he is in what is the Mercy Court. We're introduced to this a little bit before he gets there. It's the year is, sometime in the future. Crime has overridden us, so we put all the criminals in New York. I mean, crime has overridden us, and all we have now are the mega cities. And the judges. Other one. This is a long running theme in mediocre film. I shouldn't say that about Escape from New York. Crimes become more of a problem, as it happens to do, and to help figure this out, we've decided to streamline a little bit of the process, and rather than take the logical route of abolishing all lawyers, instead what we've done is we've abolished the judicial system for a certain class of crime. And for these capital offenses, there's an AI that will now analyze evidence. And if you can't prove your innocence, bear in mind, proving a negative is very, very difficult, then you will be killed in 90 minutes. Conveniently, the runtime of the movie. So Chris Pratt, a police officer, detective, wakes up in this courtroom charged with the murder of his wife. And he's like, but I can't remember anything from yesterday. So please drop plot exposition on me. And the judge does so. And the story is basically him trying to prove his innocence. So he fumbles around. He winds up admitting to his alcoholism. His relationship with his daughter is brought into question. Finds out that his wife was having an affair, but their marriage had become estranged. His partner's on the scene. They look through the shattered remains of his life. He thinks he might have done it at one point. And the long story short here is she was killed by a co-worker who'd been stealing chemicals because they both worked at a shipping plant.
It was a revenge plot.
We're getting there. So the initial thought is this chemical is one of the precursors for the production of methamphetamine, and it's a lot of it. This may have had something to do with the death. So they go to the guy's house and they raid it and like, maybe. No, wait. There's a copy of the Anarchist's Cookbook and a route highlighted in red. And, you could also make a bomb with this stuff, right? I'm like, oh, no. You see, back in the old days, we used to have to use fertilizer for this. He gets the straight stuff. This is a reference 90% of our audience doesn't get, but there we are. There's a small bomb that goes off in the at that house. We find that guy is driving a semi-truck laden with explosives. He's kidnapped Chris Pratt's daughter and is holding her hostage. He drives it into the building of the Mercy Court. It doesn't go off. Chris Pratt then has the confrontation with him, and along the way it's revealed that this guy was the brother of the first person executed by the Mercy Court. And he's raving that, no, my brother didn't do it. He was innocent. Now I've only committed first-degree homicide, killed several police officers, any number of other felonies, and now I'm going to die. He then argues for his brother's innocence in front of the judge, who's trying to stall things so the giant F-off bomb doesn't go off. Chris Pratt is able to, with proper jujitsu, actually hits a nice Osotogari and decent crucifix control, disarms the detonation device. They arrest the guy, and then he continues yelling about his brother's innocence. And Chris Pratt goes, there's a little bit of runtime left. Is there a pointless twist we could throw into all this? Yes, turns out there is. In fact, his brother was innocent and was largely framed by Chris Pratt's partner, whose justification is we needed the mercy court to be up and running, and the first case that it dealt with had to be a slam dunk. And rather than be more selective, we decided to railroad a guy because we're stupid.
Because cops are the worst thing ever, and we should live in a lawless society. Because every time that's been tried, it's worked.
Clearly.
By the way, I went with Deliverance, The Deer Hunter, and Dog Day Afternoon.
Okay.
We're doing it mid-July.
That tracks. So the end result...
Wait, why do you look so sad? Or is that defeat? I can't tell.
Because he's still trying to get through the plot synopsis, and we won't shut the fuck up.
I wasn't talking at all. Until now.
You did interrupt me right before the end, so
that tracks. That's normal for us.
So the end message is that yes, the AI made a mistake and killed an innocent man, and Chris Pratt's been a giant bag of dicks. But humans and AI, the whole point is that we learn and we do better next time, right? That's the message. That's what we're going with. Roll credits. And there we are.
All right. Jason, we could talk about Deliverance, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter, or we could try to review this movie. I'll let you decide.
I actually enjoyed this movie. I mean,
I'm going to tell you a secret. So did I. But don't tell Robert. I don't want him to yell at me.
I mean, I have to apologize to my... No. I'm not going to yell at you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to apologize to my brother. One of my brothers came up and asked me, so what did you see and how was it? And usual stuff after I get back from a movie we're going to review. I said, it's Mercy, and it wasn't very good. And he goes, I bet Mark liked it. And I went, no, I stood up for you. You understand? I stood up for you, Mark. I told him, no, Mark, look.
Like many of the women I've been with in my life, once again, I disappointed you.
I'm more annoyed that I have to apologize to my brother. I prefer not to do that.
Just wait until something that you do defend me for comes along, and then you can just claim that. Jason, what did you think of the movie besides you liked it?
I mean, I liked it. Outside of the pretty much very thin twist that you get at the beginning of who was doing everything. Toby from This Is Us, being the bad guy. That was easy figured out because how easily he was able to be interwoven into Chris Pratt's life and everything. I mean, it was pretty fairly easy to figure out. Now, the twist at the end, I kind of didn't see coming, but I didn't feel it was as forced as Robert did. I thought it was kind of unique because it paints how evidence can get skewed and everything, and how shit gets handled. But overall, this movie wasn't bad because I see, like I said, in the digital age, you see a lot of people deeming themselves as judge, jury, and executioner of someone's character. I mean, I always go by the 72-hour rule. If you see something online, wait 72 hours till the facts actually come out before you...
Well, you're never going to be a liberal protester with that kind of attitude, sir.
Well, fuck liberals and fuck them up the goat ass with their fucking Comic Con tiles.
Hey, thank you for adding to the intellectualism of all this.
You open the door, I'm going to go through it. But yeah, I mean, but also it has like social commentary with basically all cops are bad and all that ACAB bullshit that the left wing spews constantly. But like I said, I mean, for what it's worth, this movie wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I came in with mediocre expectations simply because it was something kind of fresh in my opinion. Having a court system, excuse me, that determines everything. You're guilty until you prove your innocence. I thought that was a nice little twist.
You know what I kept thinking of? Jesse will get a kick out of this if he ever listens to this. The justice system moves a lot swifter now that we've abolished all lawyers.
That's why I made that reference.
Robert made that reference earlier.
I may not have been listening.
Imagine that.
Go ahead, Robert.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it. The first little bit where he's fighting with the AI was kind of boring to me, and I kind of want to let's get on with it already. When he finally shakes it off, calms down, and starts to actively participate in the defense, the movie gets a lot better. It kind of peaks when he finally figures out who done it, and then it's a silly escalated action.
It's a studio note.
Yeah,
it's a studio note about what we have to end with.
Yeah, there was no. I mean, look. A smarter movie for a different audience ends differently. A mainstream movie for a dumb audience ends with the guy driving. In a screen life movie, a guy driving a truck into a building and attempting to blow it up. Let's make sure he's white because we don't want to offend anyone.
Exactly.
So, but
no.
I do like the idea. I mean, because taking a step back and looking at what is this movie talking about? What is it trying to interrogate? It's looking at the idea of the false belief that if we default to AI will make everything easier. And what I keep trying to tell people is that AI at the moment is entirely human dependent. It cannot operate independently. Half the time it makes mistakes and you have to stop it from drifting, hallucinating, whatever word you want to use. So
the problem with this, and this is a high level thing about this. It's not actually artificial intelligence. We brand it as such because people are stupid. It's not AI. It is not an intelligence. It is not capable of anything, but these are our generative models. That is not intelligence. It is regurgitation. That is not useless. That can be very useful in point of fact. However, it is because it's been mislabeled as something intelligent, we ascribe to it characteristics of intelligence that it definitionally does not have.
So what I was getting at is this idea that we're entirely too dependent on this kind of technology, and inherently it's still there's a bit in the movie, and I was really amused by this, where the AI, whatever we're calling the stupid thing.
That's for the people in the real world.
Oh, good.
By the time we get to what this movie is, it's closer to an actual AI.
So when he's talking to Rebecca Ferguson, and Rebecca Ferguson is like, this is shortly after he finally buys in with the process, which I think was good stuff. And then he starts doing detective work, which one thing about this movie is I was desperately missing the actual Law and Order type of detective work where you actually go from thing to thing. You go from place to place, you talk to people, you make notes, you're seeing different, you're actually watching somebody do an event. Like if you watch Seven, which I did for a triple feature that never made it to air, you get to see Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman actually walk around, investigate, talk to people, investigate scenes, etc. Here, everything is done virtually. So we're calling up this person, we're calling up that person, we're pulling that database, we're pulling this video, which is fine. And it would be how you would do this. But I was missing old school detective stuff. My point is that when he starts to ask questions about what's going on, and Rebecca Ferguson's like, "What are you doing? Where is this going?" And he's like, "I'm playing a hunch," and of course it's a computer. It's like, "What do you mean by a hunch?" Like, I'm using my gut. For a little while, the movie got really interesting to me, but it got interesting to me because we were doing a mystery. You know, it's him having to solve the mystery of who killed his wife when he knows he didn't do it. And when we got to just do mystery stuff, even it was dressed up with holodeck technology and, you know, magic computers, I was into the movie. And that's partially why I didn't hate it. Also, I think the effects in the movie, such as they weren't too bad. I like the holodeck effects. You know, like at one point there's an explosion and they cover him in fire. You know, and it's an eerie sequence because you're like, he's clearly not on fire, but it looks like he's covered in fire. So that stuff was fun. Rebecca Ferguson is doing her hard work playing the AI. My one complaint about this is that they start playing around with the fact that he was framed, and there's a couple of times where she shuts down or resets or whatever. Like, she starts to go in a certain direction and then is blocked. And yeah, it's clear he was framed. It's clear they're protecting this case. Maybe I missed something, but it wasn't totally clear. Like, at least they did not make it apparently clear in the movie why she kept shutting down. You have to
because
infer
she's
it.
growing, Mark. She's reaching.
She's learning.
That's it, and it's stupid, and I don't like the way it's handled.
Well, that's my point. Like, that's what you got out of it. Great, good for you. But like, it left too much to inference, which I did not love. Outside of that, the actual like mystery in and of itself was interesting. I do agree that it gets really silly towards the end with the one cop who is hiding evidence, and it got overboard because, like, you know, we didn't totally have him would have made more sense. Not we invented it out of whole cloth and then destroyed evidence.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, hang on. Hang on. You know what I mean, Robert? Like, had they didn't have enough to really convict him, but they pushed it through anyway, to me makes a stronger case for what they were trying to get at than what they actually did. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't there's a much better way to handle that too, by the way. In addition to what you've said, there's another angle you could take to it, but that has to do with pacing and reveals and a bunch of stuff that this movie didn't care about.
Now go ahead, Jason.
My issue when it kind of went off the rails for me is when she started taking over the hover bike and disarming the counter bomb and everything. It's like, why couldn't you done some of this stuff earlier in the movie just to show, instead of doing that? And like we was talking about earlier, you know, AI is just human-fed massive amounts of human-fed information that it tries to make a cohesive narrative out of. So when she kept resetting, it was because different stuff pertaining to the case was being revealed. So it basically rebooted the program and started back from there. Also, you know, the whole bomb thing, I thought was a little silly in itself. I would have rather him just rather than try to blow up a building, just try to, you know, be a drug overlord and be selling it on the street of Hollywood and stuff in the red zones. Because, I mean, you could have took that truck with a bunch of meth and ran it into a red zone, caused them a massive catastrophe event where people rushing the truck trying to get drugs and him slip away, which I think with him trying to get away and then be foiled that way, I think that was going to be a better thing. I like how they handled the drinking, the trauma from basically guilting himself because of his partner's death. And I like how they tied that into the end to where he thinks, you know, he knows that in his heart, he knows he could kill the guy and it would be done, and everybody would be justified. But he has to like try to do that moral constraint because his daughter's there, and he wants to show that he's a better person, not the douchebag that he's absolutely become.
All right, Robert, what do you think of the movie? Other than you hated it?
Hate's too strong a word. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it very much.
Hang on, before you start. As far as like fuck you, it's January movies, where would you rate this?
Specifically for January movies?
Yeah, limiting this to only things. I had to explain to my kids, why this was released in January, because when they walked out of it, they were like, "Oh, this was good. I had a good time with this." My daughter was very overwhelmed by the amount of stimuli in this movie, and once again needed a minute to decompress when it was all over. To which my son was wildly annoyed and went, "I'm going to go pee and think about my life decisions." So he runs off, and she's like, "There was just a lot going on at the end of that movie, and I'm very overwhelmed." And I'm like, "You are a very pretty girl." So, but I'm bringing this up because the conversation that took place after the movie was, why was this released in January? And I said, you got to remember, they have to fill a slate. They can't just stop releasing movies. So
because January is 8 years long, and you have to release something in it.
Right.
So you take stuff that you don't have a lot of faith in, and you throw it out here.
And while most people are still going to see the stuff from late December, whether it, Zootopia, Wicked, Molly Supreme, Avatar, mostly Avatar, you still have to fill you still have to fill a release schedule. And here's the thing, I was talking to somebody about this today. Like, this thing made it from like screenplay pitch to green light to budget to production schedule to casting. They shot it. It was edited. They sat down and did a screening. It got all the way to screening before somebody at the studio at MGM or Amazon was like, why are we releasing this in theaters? Let's just throw this up on Prime. And they were like, no, it could be in 3D. People will really like it. And they were like, have you seen it? and then they released it in January.
We totally need to release this in IMAX.
Right. And that's the thing. So why did it end up in January? Because clearly somebody saw this and went, this isn't good. And well, we might as well dump it in January because, maybe we'll get an audience then when everyone, for the people who've already seen Avatar 2 or 3 times, they want to see something else. There's this available. And people like Chris Pratt. But so that being said, with all of that being said, Robert, among the fuck you at January dumping ground, where would you rate this?
Pretty well in the middle.
Yeah, it's not quite a what was it? Airplane. Plane. That's the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say Airplane.
No, Plane was pretty good.
Yeah, so I think Plane was at the high end.
Yeah, this is lower than that, but it's not like the worst.
Wasn't Glass or whatever the hell the name of the M. Night Shyamalan movie was? Wasn't that also January?
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like it was. Like late January. I'm trying to Megan last year, I believe, was January. The very first Megan movie.
No, Megan 2.0. I think Megan 2.0 was January.
Yeah.
No.
The other one from last year.
No, Megan. Stop. Megan, the original Megan, I believe, was a January release. Like that was early January. Megan 2.0 was like June.
Oh, right. Everybody, because they wildly misinterpret. Yeah, the original Megan's probably January. There's a few of those. Look, this is around the middle. On a scale of like 1 to 100, somewhere between 50 and 45.
Mm-hmm.
About where I'd probably throw this.
All right. I've interrupted you enough.
The original Megan was released in December.
No, it was released in December in France.
No, Jason, you just walked into a bad trap. Because when we were looking at the numbers, we noticed that they kept pitching it for 2025, and we were trying to figure out why. And it was because it was released. It was the original release of it was in France in 2025, and then
also released in Los Angeles, December 7th, and then it went
in a limited release.
It went global January 6th. So Two things.
I love
can be
the
right.
arguing for no good reason. Go ahead, Robert.
No, the limited release in Los Angeles would not have made it so that its global box office was limited to the year before, but the France one did. So for
And
like
we laughed
8
heartily
months.
about that. Yeah.
For like 8 months, Mark and I are like, well, Megan's on here somewhere. No, Megan's last year, technically, because of the French.
Oh, The Beekeeper was January last year too.
All right,
yes,
right.
And the Beekeeper ended up being pretty good.
Yeah,
it was decent. So as far as this one goes, there's a much better movie in here somewhere. And look, for as much as we have lamented the death of the mid-budget action movie, the mid-budget thriller, stuff like Double Jeopardy, Kiss the Girls, you and I have gone through these a lot. Like, we've lamented that those aren't really much of a thing anymore for a variety of reasons.
I think wasn't the Vin Diesel XXX movies like January releases?
I don't know. I've never seen any of them.
Neither have I. They're on my list of things to do for a Long Road to Ruin someday, but
you'll have to watch an Ice Cube movie then, and you don't want to do that, Mark. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, don't ever
keep
do
going.
that to yourself. Wolfman was a January release, and that sucked.
Okay, Jason.
There's a better way to have handled this, and I tend to think it goes as follows. Keep the first half, give or take. Like, I'd still tweak it a little bit because I'm me, but keep the first half more or less intact structurally. The bit when you get to the middle and it's kind of revealed who killed his wife, what you need at that point is if you're going to keep the bit at the end, which is, well, we can't really trust the AI system because all these stories have to have somewhere in there the AI system is bad. This is integral to it. It can't just be that the system is working and Chris Pratt's innocent. The system has to be bad. Otherwise, people might get the wrong idea about how reliant we are on technology. So if you're going to keep the third act bit about how we can't trust the AI to do this, you need to set up its importance, and they don't. So my pitch for this, if I'm editing this, or if I'm like in the story process, midway through, when it's like, oh no, it was my sponsor, it was that dude. The only other dude who's got an acting credit to his name, apart from the two leads. His response to being questioned about this is, you're still on the clock, buddy. Like, you're going to die. You don't have any evidence of me doing this. However, I will confess. I will confess to this if you use your access right now to prove my brother innocent. Because you do that whole reveal then. You get the backstory about why he did it and what he wants. And you've still got the timer going. You've still got all that stuff. And then you have Chris Pratt arguing with the AI about trying to get access to stuff that's only tangentially related to what he's doing.
Speaking of not trusting the AI, I got to delete something. Keep going.
And
get that stuff off your computer before the cops arrive.
Yeah, I wish it was that. No, it's me. It's me once again thinking the AI can help me bet, and it's just as bad as I am. At least when I fuck up, I only have myself to blame.
Yeah, that's not whatever access to AI you have is not as good as the AI the sports books are using. So don't bother. Like, it's never going to work out.
Yeah.
So I'd introduce that point of conflict around the midway point of the movie, a little bit over midway. Then you can keep most of the rest of it. You can have him reveal that he's kidnapped his daughter and let that still continue to be a point of contention. But that whole bit at the end comes out of left field because none of it's relevant. Like, it's moderately relevant to the motivation of the villain, but we don't actually care about his motivation for the vast majority of the movie. We care about trying to figure out what's happening to Chris Pratt. So either give this time to develop or just let it die. Cut it out entirely, and he's just a crazy guy. Or his brother was in fact guilty. But again, at that point, the AI was right. And we can't have one of these stories, any sci-fi story like this. There is some edict from on high that the AI system has to be proven fallible and wrong by the end of it, or you don't have anything worth publishing, printing, or creating as a movie. So you've got to address that differently. That has to be one of the central points of tension. Instead, this is just a very straightforward bit of Chris Pratt doing detective work with AI assistance. And that, it got really old really fast, and it leads to the twists at the end being bizarre and feeling out of place. So
I thought it was a nice twist, but I get where you're coming from, where you said it was bizarre, because it has no lead up, because she's basically his closest confidant and everything. Like, you don't have any suspicion, and then all of a sudden it's I'm a shitty person that helped set this guy up.
So that didn't land for me. I don't love the entire screen life aesthetic for filming. It's just, it's another.
Have you ever seen a good one?
No, that doesn't preclude their existence. I've never seen one personally. For me, it provides about a third layer of artificiality to remove me from the experience, and that's at least one too many. I can never get invested in that kind of movie because, I shouldn't say never, but it's very, very hard. Because,
hang on, did you see Lockdown with the two aforementioned people?
No.
Give it a once over, just because I want to see what, if it follows in the I can't. But I mean, granted, the entirety of it is not. There's a lot of it that's on like Zoom calls, but not the entirety of the movie. And at the end of the day, it's a heist movie.
I might. I mean, the other problem with Screen Life is you're about this close to found footage, and you just don't want to admit it. We're not found footage, we're Screen Life. You're found footage, buddy. And that, with all the inherent pitfalls and issues to try and overcome that comes with that. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean there aren't good ones. There are good found footage movies. They're just few and far between because it turned into a lazy crutch. Screen Life filmmaking techniques at this point are a lazy crutch. Somebody's going to get it right and do a good one. I'm sure of it. I don't know when. It's not this. But again, that's a really big complaint. So, other issues.
Probably the best one I've seen in this genre is probably Searching. I don't know if either one of you guys have seen that.
I remember seeing the trailers for that one.
That's
missing.
Yeah, Searching is probably, also, Mark, I got what you was talking about, but I was talking about Host. I don't know if me and you reviewed Host or not. It was from COVID as well, where a bunch of friends conduct a seance via Zoom.
Oh, God, I remember that.
Yeah, no, sir. I assure you we did not.
It was so bad. Like it's the low end of the spectrum, the very low end.
That is the low. Woof.
Yeah, but Lockdown was one. Yeah,
I'll give the genre a bit of a fair shake. Chris Pratt's acting is okay. It's not great. Part of the problem with that is they're asking him to speed run a lot of stuff that's actually quite intense emotionally, and because he has to go through it so quickly, I struggle to really get into the performance. I would have preferred, and this is a combination of writing and direction, I needed what he's doing to be much more I am locking off my grief reaction, but like struggling with it. Like he's like, this feels like he gets over the grief very quickly instead of I've compartmentalized it and I will break down intermittently throughout the movie. And that's more the kind of angle that I think this needs. Is this guy in a high stress life and death situation? He's not actually grieving or processing it. He's just got to separate it to not die. And that's not the direction that they went with this. And I think that was a mistake. But again, individual mileage will vary there. That's just my read on it.
I got a question. Do you think if they would have got an actor that was more unhinged, that could play more unhinged, this movie would have worked better? Because Chris Pratt is he's likable. Most audiences identify him as a likable character. I think you could have made the movie a little bit better by casting somebody that's a little bit more unhinged, that you could actually see, snapping, because nobody's going to really believe Chris Pratt as an alcoholic that snapped and killed his wife. But putting somebody in that role that that plays like a good asshole type villain, I think this movie could have worked a little bit better with that casting choice.
I can see the argument there. The problem is at that point you have to cast Nicolas Cage, and then the whole movie gets a different stigma attached to it.
Well, I mean, not necessarily Nicolas Cage. I mean, you could even cast somebody like Jason Momoa, just kind of like that kind of plays that. They could play like a smarmy, sleazy asshole cop.
If you're going to try and make Jason Momoa sit in a chair and act for 90 minutes, I'm going to report you to The Hague.
Well, I'm just saying, just kind of where he plays that, he could come off as that smarmy, like basically, I'm trying to think of somebody that would fit like a really unhinged asshole cop kind of aesthetic. That
Mark wants to say Harvey Keitel so badly.
Yeah.
And 30 years ago, maybe.
So Joe Pesci in there.
I get what you're saying, and I do think the casting does play a role in that. To the extent that I would rather, if you're going to, it's one of the things, like certain characters do get rewritten depending on who you may cast in the role. This is a thing throughout movie history. Oh, we've cast Sylvester Stallone. Well, we're rewriting this character. There's things you just have to change about them because of who the actor is. I'm kind of with you. Like there needed to be something maybe a little bit different with Chris Pratt instead of I'm an alcoholic jackass. And maybe I did stab my wife, because that's a hard sell, man, for Chris Pratt. Would have been better if they did it. Like if the twist was he actually did it.
Yeah, like you could have at least have that believability.
The question.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you could have threw. I mean, something like not necessarily saying this would have been a good cast. Somebody like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like his portrayal of Negan, like somebody that could pull that off, like where you're like, did he really do it? I mean, there's some probability that he actually done it, and it brings the audience questioning everything into it as well.
Yeah, that's a decent point. Again, you cast Chris Pratt, you should have retooled the script a little bit at that point, I think, to address some of that. The actual action is iffy to me. Like none of it really landed. You've also, I know way too much about how you handle these kind of situations. If that bomb is stable enough that this guy's like crashing through vehicles,
yeah,
you don't deploy a little RV with C4. You get someone on the bridge with a 50 caliber rifle and you shoot out the engine block. That's what those guns are designed for. They're not actually anti-personnel weapons. They're anti-material weapons. That's how you handle that. You don't try to blow it up beforehand safely with a more powerful explosive, even potentially. There's a lot of the way this was handled that procedurally is designed to do nothing but facilitate the plot, including the very, very stupid bit where, oh, we know he didn't do it. And the AI goes, well, your innocence is now proven. So, case closed. And Chris Pratt goes, but wait, then I won't have access to all your AI files and all the superpower of this computing device. Really, it's the writer going, oh no, our gimmick would die here. So, no.
Shit. We got to keep the movie going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was so dumb. That was just the dumbest thing. And again, that's kind of why, like, you need some other device where, like, somebody has exonerating evidence that he's willing to give, but the AI can't take it at face value. So until you actually get the evidence, the AI is still locked into its programming. But no, instead, it's just Chris Pratt going, no, I still have to be able to use all this stuff so the gimmick of the film can persist.
And the sad part about it is he did, after he says that, he rarely uses the resources of the AI.
He just watches.
Yeah, he just watches on the screen.
It's dumb. It's just dumb. The bit about him like wanting to go vigilante, boy, did that go. That hit me maybe wrong. Again, Jason kind of liked it. I'm not here to begrudge anyone who did like it. It felt wrong to me because it does nothing but set up his angst at the end. Like your partner dying is traumatic enough for you to become an alcoholic, especially with the overall stress of police work. I don't need no, the guy got off and now I'm just beating myself up over it. And now I can never let another criminal go free. Unless he's actually like the Punisher, I don't need this. You get this weird bit at the end where he's, I'm going to shoot you in the head after letting you stand up and face him when you have a loaded gun to the back of his head when he's already like stretched out in a crucifix. It's a much better way to kill someone than what he winds up trying to do for the sake of purely dramatics. And so we can do a crane swoop because the director half thinks he's Michael Bay. Like, no, sorry, no.
What would have been more interesting is if the guy that was framed, his brother, would have actually been the guy that killed his partner. I think that could have added a layer into this and a little bit more tension. You find out that, it progresses on, and that's why he was, that was the reasoning behind the setup, his new partner setup, or even have him setting the guy up as a way, because the guy that killed his partner got off, and it could have been a revenge thing, and Chris Pratt actually set the guy up. Chris Pratt was the one that actually hid the phone and everything, and that could have came out. So I think that would have added a layer of tension and would have been kind of better than the partner doing it that has had really nothing to do throughout the entire film except be a confidant cameo and be his eyes outside of the court.
Yeah, a lot of this this feels like a third grader's attempt to recreate Minority Report. It's kind of what this movie hit me when it was all said and done. To anyone that did enjoy it, Godspeed. This is not the worst thing I've ever seen. It represents a genre of film and like a tier of filmmaking that I lament having kind of gone the way of the dodo. So I just wish it was better, is really the thing here. Somewhere in there is a better movie that they just couldn't quite get to.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where there's a lot wrong with it, but it was also, and depending, your mileage may vary with this. It was entertaining enough. Like, it's one of those where, and I'm trying to
say it's welcome.
And I'm trying to really highlight this because not that I'm any more sensitive to it than I've ever been, but It's funny. I put up the TikTok of our year in review, where I was like, okay, so what are we saying about these movies? And a lot of what I had said in the TikTok was essentially, there's great movies out there. You guys just don't want to watch them. You want to watch, you want Marvel and Star Trek and God, Starfleet. I'm this close to hate watching Starfleet Academy.
Don't
just
do
for the
it,
lulz.
Mark. Don't do it.
No. I'm not going. I don't need you to parent me. Let me get through the bit.
Okay.
I was this close to hate watching Starfleet Academy just for the lulz, and I'm like, man, my time is too valuable to fucking even be bothered with that shit. But that's my point. Like, what I said in the TikTok was essentially, you guys just want your baby stuff to be better. You don't want to watch the adult stuff. And somebody wrote back to me, they was like, you said a lot of words to just say you're a pretentious douchebag. Okay. So in fairness to that,
they're right.
I like this movie just fine. That doesn't mean there isn't stuff wrong with it. And, I say this every week, and I'm going to keep saying it until people understand it, or stop pulling guns on ICE, agents, whichever comes first. You can like something and enjoy it, and it can still not be made well. Those two things can coexist.
We're going to have this fight all over again when the Mandalorian movie comes out, because I was finally subjected to that abomination of a trailer in front of this movie.
Looks terrible. Like, I saw the Masters of the Universe trailer. I'm actually genuinely excited for it. I think it looks. What I saw of the trailer, I was like, okay, my excitement level kicked up a notch. Finally, there actually is something this summer I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to Supergirl, but at least Lobo's in it, so that'll
no one
give
should
me
be
a
looking
smile.
forward to Supergirl. It looks like ass.
Yeah, I saw the trailer that confirmed Lobo was in it, and I'm like, it'll be fun to see Lobo.
It looks stupid, and this is one of those things where like everyone's fantasy casting.
We're interrupting each other. Did you ever watch Krypton?
I don't know what that is.
So it was a show on the Sci-Fi Network, and their version of Lobo was moderately entertaining. I'll be curious to see what this version of Lobo looks like. I actually enjoy when I used to read the Legion comics.
When it's in focus, you mean, and like not colored the same as the background.
I actually enjoyed the Lobo comics when I read them, and what his part of Legion was.
Every teenage boy did, because he's aimed at that. Like that's like saying you liked Spawn at a certain age. Of course you did.
I didn't like Spawn though. That's the thing. I didn't really. I wasn't a
Deadpool
The
one
person.
Mark property Mark didn't like is Spawn. I did not have that on my bingo card.
As irritated as I am right now, I'm going to give you that one. It was not enough black folks in Spawn. But yeah, I didn't like Spawn. I wasn't a big Deadpool person. Like, I didn't like Fawn over Wolverine either. But I genuinely liked Lobo. I thought Lobo was hilarious. Anyway, enough about this movie is so bad. We're talking about anything but the movie. So, all right.
Welcome to that review, Mark. We did this for Pet Cemetery several years ago, and it was this experience.
Yeah, and I've never stopped hearing about it. Jason, are you leaving?
Damn. That was a bit harsh, but yeah, I guess so.
No, you don't stay for the next.
Jason, are you leaving yet? Get the fuck out of here.
Jason, please get all of the sand out of your vagina. Jason, you don't stay for the next two segments, generally speaking. Are you staying for these two?
No, but you could have been a little bit nicer asking me.
Yeah, I'm going to start now being nicer. Sure.
Jason, we're about to go into this. Do you wish to stay? No. Or I all right. Thank you for your
have
time.
an encounter with ICE. I really do.
Given the temperature outside, it's very likely.
I hope you get ass raped by a gorilla with gonorrhea. So the feeling is mutual.
It would be a better day than I've had.
Okay. Well.
Hope they deport you.
Sorry.
Hope they deport you back to Poland.
No. No,
hey, Poland's actually in a pretty good spot, all things considered.
I'm going back
geopolitically.
All right, Jason, because he enjoys being here so much, will be back. Let's see.
I think next week.
Yeah, next week starts Black History Month in earnest. And we're going to kick it off with our preview of the Super Bowl show. We're going to be looking at Varsity Blues, the program, and Necessary Roughness. And then Black History Month begins in earnest. We started it early with Bamboozled.
Oh, man, you put Necessary Roughness on that one?
I love that movie.
I'm here on next Monday for Send Help.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you are. But if I could continue with the Black History Month, so then we got Breakin' and Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. I've now said whatever 2 Electric Boogaloo so much I felt the need we actually had to review the movie. And then the following week, we've got three movies with black people nobody saw. We've got The Book of Clarence, The American Society of Magical Negroes, and They Clone Tyrone. And then we end. I hate my mouse. And then we end Black History Month. Jason and I do with a Denzel Washington focus. We're looking at Glory, Mo Better Blues, and John Q. And Jason will now tell us the many things he has a problem with John Q.
No, I love John Q.
Actually pretty good.
John Q. I have a lot to talk about on John Q. and the American health system.
That's what I meant. Yes.
When it comes to.
I just found out I have a $7,000 deductible. I have a lot to say about the American healthcare system as well.
Yeah, I'm also here on the 23rd for Psycho Killer, unless that gets changed.
I haven't seen the trailer for Psycho Killer.
Me neither, actually.
Oh, it is so good. It is so batshit. It is so batshit crazy that Robert, you'll enjoy it. Mark, you'll be scared.
I don't know. I'm kind of dead these days, so I don't know if anything.
I can't say much. You have improved. You have improved your horror movie etiquette, and came up in the world a little bit. So this may not frighten you as bad.
Did you see the Sora video I did after I went to Halloween Horror Nights, where I have the guy? This is supposed to be me walking through the haunted house, and it's like I'm like divorced. I'm sick all the time. I'm poor. There isn't anything in this fucking house that's going to scare me more than life already has. That's kind of where I'm at with horror movies, Jason.
Okay, well, you'll fit right in with this one because
behold the ravages of age.
It's basically Prodigy's Firestarter on amped up to like 1,000. The trailer I've seen is just like so chaotic. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm just intrigued. But yeah, I mean. We're going to have Black History Month, Super Bowl.
Yep. All right, Jason.
Some horror movies. So it's been a pleasure.
Yes, unless they deport you back to Sweden. I'm not even from there. All right.
I'm the Swedish chef. What are you talking about?
All right, Jason.
Here, you get stuck on these meatballs.
Always a pleasure.
All right, it's been fun, guys.
If you do get deported, Jason, you have to go to Denmark and then start voting for us to get Greenland.
Okay, I will spearhead that. I will run for political office.
I hope you run into a spear, not spearhead.
Hey, spear chucker, shut the fuck up.
That's me. Goodbye, Jason.
Later.
Would you believe we're friends?
Mark, you and I have discussed at length the way that male friendship has been badly portrayed by the media. Yes, I believe you're friends because I've had male friends and I know what that can look like.
Are the opening to Bamboozled was just going like a motherfucker just back and forth for like 5 minutes. It was the most like passive aggressive thing, and I love Jason to death. I mean, like he annoys me, I annoy him, but like we're buddies. And hey, gang, that's exactly right. That is what male friendship looks like. It looks like your enemies.
For the record, I did see that comment on your TikTok, and I was tempted to say something to that guy, but I had to pause and go, will anything productive come out of this use of my time and my energy?
Oh, the one that called me a pretentious douchebag?
Yeah. And I decided ultimately, no, there's no point to this other than making myself feel good by insulting a random person on the internet, and that's just not a thing that is productive.
Speaking of which, did you see I don't know what TikTok's been doing for the last like 24 to 48 hours, but it strangled my views on 2 things. One was a picture of my kids, random one to start that with. And then today I compressed the bimbo feminist, JMU Hollywood, slowly becoming a critique of TikTok and only a critique of TikTok, only ancillarily about movie reviews. Anyway, so I'm on. Robert's like, get me out of here. So there's this TikToker I like called the Bimbo Feminist, and she's been doing a series of TikToks about BoJack Horseman, which reminded me and my friend Robert, we did a podcast many, many years ago. One of the few you advocated for.
I did, because I liked BoJack Horseman.
Yes, and you wanted to discuss it with me. You wanted me to watch it. So I threw the entire 33 hours we spent talking about BoJack Horseman.
We did.
God, that's
Zero
just me
regrets.
and you. Yep. It was a good show. It was actually. I think it's going to be the second sessions that we do now that I got the transcript ready to go, and I need podcasts to turn into songs. So like the first one is Too Old to Die Young, but I think the second sessions is going to be BoJack Horseman. In any case, the whole reason why I brought this up is
one of those has to be the Northman too. But it was just you and me vamping about anything under the sun for
that may be the new sessions, is just compressing long podcasts that Robert and I do. The podcast that infamously broke W2M. So anyway,
yep, that's what we did.
3. So the Bimbo Feminist does this whole series of podcasts on BoJack Horseman. It occurred to me that I did a podcast with you on BoJack Horseman, so I compressed it into a TikTok, threw it up today, figuring I'll get 1 million views because right now anything having to do with BoJack Horseman for some odd reason has a lot of popularity on TikTok, and my views got strangled. Like it's starting to have some views now, but like up until about midday today, I was at 0 all day long, and I knew it was there because my son liked it because I came up in his FYP. But yeah, according to the AI, apparently TikTok occasionally does this to people. Lucky me.
It's a combination of that, and I imagine TikTok's not always great about updating and tabulating views. So there might have been something that was like, it's getting views, but it's not showing you that it's getting views until a certain point. So,
but you should go give it a look in a.
I will. I try about once or twice a week. I try to go through your stuff because you're my friend and I like to support what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of supporting what you do, I actually watched one fight from Saturday night, and then
I'm sure you did.
Well, it was in between basketball and sleep. All right. Speaking of basketball and sleep, here we go with Here Comes the Money. We're in the money. We're in the money. Welcome to Mark and Robert Bullshit for 2 hours. I'm your host, Cranky McGee.
Look at that. With 10 million, it did, in fact, knock Avatar down.
Yeah. All right. On a budget of $60 million, this thing made $23 million.
To be fair, spending almost $70 million on an episode of Black Mirror was probably not a wise move.
Once again, I don't know why anyone once they decided that, we're going to throw this in January, somebody else said, then just throw it on Prime. What are we doing here? Mercy was released alongside Return to Silent Hill, Chica, and a wide releases of Arco and H is for Hawk. Amazon MGM Studios estimated a $12.6 million opening weekend, officially topping Avatar Fire and Ash's 5-weekend top box office ranking after most theaters closed down due to the January 26th North American winter storm. Oh, good.
Not actually much of a storm, but okay.
Good. Let's blame the fucking weather. Was it what UFC thing did Dana White fucking cry about because they didn't do the numbers that they said they were going to do because of the weather?
It wasn't because of the weather. At one point, he blamed everyone going to see the Avengers movie, the first one.
Yeah. I knew it was something like that, something stupid. Alrighty. Yes, Mercy was the #1 movie of the weekend. It knocked Avatar to #2. Zootopia maintained its spot at #3 with 9 weeks. I think it's about to go to Disney Plus if it hasn't already.
Probably, but again, Zootopia 2, unmitigated success.
The Housemaid maintained its spot at #4, 6 weeks out. Maudie Supreme, 5 at 6 weeks out. 28 years later,
bombing. 72% drop is a big ol' chunk.
Why they release this in theaters, I will never know beyond contract law.
Again, like you and I talked about this, and part of it is just they want to do the trilogy, and you can't do the middle part of a trilogy on streaming and expect the third one to then get a major theatrical release, which is just, they just kind of knew they were going to take a bath on this one. Speaking of all you people suffering from winter storms, here in the great state of Utah, we're probably going to be in the 50s tomorrow.
Return to Silent Hill debuted at #7. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring dropped from 7 to 8.
I need to go make time to see those in theaters.
Hamnet opened up at a bunch of theaters yet again.
Yeah.
That went from 16 to 9. We'll get to why in just a few minutes. Return of the King, 12 to 10. Two Towers maintained its spot at #11. Primate dropped from 6 to 12. Speaking of fuck you, it's January.
Indeed.
Anaconda dropped from 9 to 13. Clica, not Chica. Debuted at 14. Stand Out, the Ben Gajar story is 27. Aces for Hawk is 28. Arco 2026 re-release 33. The Dreamer Cinderella 41. The Story of Robert Winfrey, Mr. Nobody Against Putin 44. Conversation Piece.
How? Okay.
What?
Nope. Just go.
Conversation Piece. Debuted at 45, and that was the weekend that was.
So because worldwide, there's still like nothing.
Well, let's go to 2025 first.
No real movement. Avatar's not catching Zootopia 2 at this point. It's not getting another 400 million.
So yeah, so at this point, everything is. I think this is the last weekend we need to do this. I think after
I'd
this,
assume.
we're done. Yeah. Zootopia is not. Avatar is not catching Zootopia, and Zootopia is not catching Nija. Avatar, first of the Avatar movies to not reach $2 billion.
It's not even hitting 1.5.
Well,
can't wait for Jim Cameron to re-release it in 6 months.
This was of the many sissy slap fights you and I get into on an ongoing basis. This is what I said to you. I just re-listened to our show. That's why I'm bringing this up. Because you're like, I said here is the crux of our argument. I said even though there are loose plot threads, granted, so please shut up and let me get through this. I grant you there are some loose plot threads. We don't know if Quaritch is dead. We don't know if Edie Falco is dead. But if it's done, if this is the end, they don't do any more of these, I'm happy with the way this ended. I feel like I got enough story out of this for this to be a satisfying conclusion. That was my thesis. And you said at the time, you're getting more of these. Bend over, here comes the gravy pipe. And I said, and this is where we can pick up the argument if you wish.
Okay.
Not if this doesn't make enough money. It didn't make $2 billion. It didn't even make 1.5, as you just said. It's probably dead as a doornail at this point at 1.3, I think it was. I don't know if I'm Disney or if I'm James Cameron, for that matter, if I'm willing to take a flyer on a fourth one of these.
Okay. Allow me to express why we're still going to get more of these.
Please.
Because they're going to re-release it in 8 months. We're going to sit here and pretend that James Cameron doesn't just re-release his old crap.
Okay.
He's going to re-release this later this year in all probability. Disney's going to see whatever numbers it does on Disney Plus, which are probably going to be good, as good as Disney Plus numbers get. And they're going to go, there was a little bit of diminishing returns, but this was also originally one movie. As has been talked about ad nauseum, this was originally one script for the second movie. It got split. If James Cameron comes in and goes, okay, so Avatar 4 is different in all these ways, and here's what we're going to do, and we're going to reinvigorate things, and it's going to go in this other direction. It's going to take 2 years to make. 2 years is a big enough gap for this franchise, I think. You don't need another 10 years, but Fire and Ash coming out, like a year after Way of Water?
Tell you what, here's my one and only objection. If I'm James Cameron and I'm very protective of my IP, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do a fourth one of these and risk it not doing and risk diminishing returns. Now, diminishing returns on a series that's done at this point over $5 billion, and it's got its own part of a theme park. One would argue, what are you crying about? On the other hand, diminishing returns is still diminishing returns. The next one of these, if it doesn't make more than Fire and Ash, that's egg on my face. And if I'm James Cameron, the way I think I know James Cameron, I don't think he wants that kind of egg on his face.
So again, a lot of this will come down to what is the idea for Avatar 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Avatar 4, hang on, I don't know what it would be, mind you, but if he's got an idea that is big and actually this is one of the big problems with Fire and Ash and why it's not doing as well as Way of Water, because it's the same stupid movie. And I'm not the only one saying it. Plenty of people have said this.
Yes.
So the rewatchability of the same movie that you watched earlier is actually pretty well diminished. But if if the next one, hypothetical next one, is different significantly, actually moves the story forward, has something big and important that goes on, that's probably worth rolling the dice on. Like, if you can legitimately sell this with a tagline like Pandora will never be the same, there's enough people that pretend to be invested in this that might work.
So I'm going to minimize this for a second.
Yeah, so you can put that back up when we get to the Oscar noms.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there's no point in even continuing to share this. We're done talking about the money. A couple of plot threads that they can pull on. They've angered the planet. If the planet is conscious enough that it knows there are humans there and it's already helped them in one fight, now the planet is, incessantly attacking the Earth City, and the Earthlings are pissed. And so the next plot line is not just about unobtainium or whale goo. It's how do we make the planet submit to us? That at least goes in another direction. They can't do anything more with Jake's family or Monkey Boy because they more or less clipped all those threads.
Here's the one that they can pull. And it still has to do with Sigourney Weaver's character because she's still the girl that's the key to everything.
Yeah.
Something with her. I mean, I joked, mind you, after Way of Water.
Talk about after this, so let's move through this a little bit faster. Go ahead.
I joked after Way of Water that the next one is her merging with the consciousness of the planet, and the planet turns out to be Unicron. And the big finale is Earth is also a giant transformer, and we get the two of the robots fighting in space, and that's the big finale to Avatar.
You joke, but I can see it happening.
Again, I was joking. I'm not sure that's a joke anymore.
Well, that's the thing. So if the next one is, they said they were going to do, he had 9 of these planned out. Let's assume he has at least the next 2. It has to be about the planet itself. Here's what I was going to say. You can still make Jake and his family important because if the planet is attacking the Earthlings and the Earthlings find a way to make the planet submit, all that's left are the Na'vi, and the Na'vi are scattered about the 4 winds. So, he has to put together yet again a giant fuck all army of every Na'vi he can find, which they sort of did this time around, but maybe there's more Na'vi to be had.
Here's the thing. They actually revealed that Awa is real. Awa is an intergalactic parasite that landed on this planet, biologically made all things reliant on it.
Mm-hmm.
And now anytime someone connects to it, you basically become a mind zombie. Awa's a bad thing, if you actually think about it. Hang on. So at some point, the plot is going to be, let's get Awa spores to planet Earth. I don't know when, but that's clearly a plot point that's going to come up at some point.
Yeah, I suspect that's kind of where we're going with this. But I will be happy if sober minds decide maybe we should stop while we're ahead. Speaking of stopping while we're ahead, I'm bringing this up because I saw somebody's TikTok, and it was interesting because her point was she had 4 posters connected to each other on screen. And I want to preface this by saying tomorrow Wonder Man debuts. I think it's in its entirety.
No one cares.
Would you like to do a podcast? Are you interested?
I'm insulting Wonder Man. Keep going.
Thank you. Gonna start spraying everybody with fucking Vyvanse. Tomorrow Wonder Man comes out, January 27th, I believe, in its entirety. And in the run up to this, there's been some talk about Wonder Man on TikTok, and this one girl's premise was anything with a star person of color doesn't get supported. Not by the fans. She didn't give a shit about them. I think it's supported by Disney. And the 4 that she put together were the Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, which hadn't come out yet, Ironheart, and then Ms. Marvel. And Ms. Marvel, she's full of shit because there was plenty of fucking press behind Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, Disney really did push Ms. Marvel. Let's not pretend otherwise. We're not doing revisionism on this, guys.
No.
Ironheart got buried because it sucks. It's not complicated.
As did Echo. That was another one that she put up there was Echo. And I suffered. I'm going to be Robert Winfrey now. I suffered. I watched Echo. I did it for my friend Alexis Haina. My point is, her thing was like, Disney doesn't support these things, so we have to get out and force. We have to watch them, or they're not going to make stuff for, people of color anymore.
Put the Acolyte on the list.
Wrong IP, but
it's Disney.
And I was thinking about Wonder Man, and I was like, I know we've talked about this before, but it bears repeating because I had mentioned to somebody else who asked me if I was going to watch Wonder Man, and I said no. These shows are no longer connected to the Marvel Universe. We're right back to where we started with the Netflix shows, only those were good.
Well, yeah, a couple of them.
I don't want to relitigate it.
We don't have to relitigate that.
By and large, they were good, but they were also moderately connected to each other, especially with the one Defender show. Yeah. For the most part, they lived in their own universe, and they were only tangentially connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it didn't matter because they were doing their own thing. But they were good enough. They were good enough that the fact that they were disconnected from the greater Marvel universe was immaterial. The thing about the Disney Plus shows was the big selling point was that they were going to be intimately connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then they gave up about halfway through. Like, of the things that
they also gave up on the MCU about halfway through for the most part.
Well, that's the thing is like, the one thing that she can point to is that Ms. Marvel connected to the Marvels for better or for worse, but Echo didn't really connect to anything. I mean, Echo is it connects it only in that it was a spin-off from Hawkeye, and
then a kind of a lead into Daredevil Reborn, sort of.
Yeah. So if anything, it's like a Bridger series. But Ironheart.
Never mind that Hawkeye wasn't any good either.
Then you have Ironheart, which connects to nothing.
And was just... They all knew that show sucked.
Right.
They tried to bury it.
And
I'm surprised they haven't willowed it.
Eyes of Wakanda, was that a cartoon?
I'd assume. I did not know that thing existed.
Yeah, neither did I. I was like, that came out? Because I would have figured the nerds that we're friends with would have said something about it. But
you know what? Again, hang on.
Then again, the nerds that we talk to don't want to talk to us about Marvel stuff anymore because, that gets contentious.
Eyes of Wakanda was a miniseries. Yes, it's animated, and yes, it came out. It's an anthology animated series.
Oh no one paid any attention to it. That was another
released on. Where's my release date? August 1st of last year. Yeah, nobody cared.
Nobody cared. So all of this to say, Wonder Man comes out tomorrow, and it's not connected to the Marvel Universe because I was almost willing to give this a shot. Because I like the character. I was a big fan of the West Coast Avengers comics, of which he was a big part of. I liked his storyline with Grim Reaper and Vision and all of that. I liked the Simon, whatever his last name was, character. And then they casted it with the guy from Candyman, and I was like, all right, that wouldn't have been my first choice, but I know what they're doing here. I know why they're doing it, and I don't care that much. And then I saw a TikTok that summarized what it was about. And their contention was you should watch it. It's really good. In isolation, if I hadn't already been burned on so much of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, maybe. But having been burned, like Daredevil was their last shot with me. And if Daredevil didn't work, I wasn't coming back. Daredevil didn't work. I'm not coming back. So I'm looking at this Wonder Man show, and you have a legacy of failure. Right? Three legs on the stool. The legacy of failure. It's not connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you didn't make a show that looks interesting in any way, shape, or form. Why would I watch this? Why would anyone watch this? And for those preaching, hey, my last line on this, and then you can say what you got to say. For anyone that's going, but support it because black folks. Look, I'm your biggest advocate. Hey, I've watched all the David Simon stuff. I am all about support black stuff.
I support black stuff when done by a white man.
I can't do this fucking show, hard as I try. Your thoughts?
Race swapping characters is generally a bad idea. This is not a better or worse, just a bad idea, generally. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. I'll say it again with my whole chest.
I want to caveat that, because as soon as you said it, I thought someone's going to bring up Spider-Man. Here's the thing about race swapping Spider-Man. Peter Parker still existed.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Miles Morales is not Peter Parker in blackface. Miles Morales is a character.
You can add as many of these characters. Like, just another example. People are going to hate it, and I'm sure if Pat's going to hear this in the distance, his ears are going to burn. But like Thor, if you wanted to add Jane as part of the pantheon of Thors, like you did with Horseface McGee, Beta Ray Bill, like people love
Beta Ray Bill. He's awesome.
Well, that's the thing. People loved Beta Ray Bill. He didn't necessarily replace Thor. He was added to the pantheon of Thors. Yeah. If you wanted to add Jane to the pantheon of Thors, add her. The problem is they were trying to supplant Thor, and this is where everyone raised an objection.
And they did it stupidly.
Right.
Like, there's ways to have done that were better. So, look, the Green Lantern ring can go to anybody. You can have any number of Green Lanterns.
I was going to say, there's in just Earth alone, there's been like 62 of them.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of these that are transferable. Race swapping characters is a bad idea. And if you are over there at Disney Marvel going, but black folks, I present to you dumbasses, you've spent 5 years not making Blade.
I fucking knew it. I was like, here comes the Blade argument again.
This is a black character. This is the first black superhero in cinema. Yes, I am trying to erase Meteor Man from memory. I'm willing to do that. I will sacrifice that.
Evan and I are going to review that in a few weeks.
I feel bad for Evan.
It was his suggestion.
Still feel bad for him. But you've got a character that is black, was black from conception in all iterations, and is nothing but a badass character that people love. They may not love all the movies or all the individual books, but people like Blade. Because all he does is kick ass and look cool. And for some reason, the brain trust over at Marvel can't make that work.
On the occasion, in isolation, you can get away with it. I submit to you, Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But when it's becoming a constant, and it's always supplanting, you're always firing the white guy to hire the non-white guy or gal, this is a problem. Again, you can add as many Spider-Man as you want. You can't get rid of Peter Parker. You can't fire him from his job. So anyway, I will not be watching Wonder Man. Despite the pleas from TikTok for people to do so, Marvel has not done nearly enough to bring like people like me back. And here's the thing, like, so what, fatty? So you and all the rest of the old heads don't watch Wonder Man. Who's left? My kids. They don't care. Like Andrew, maybe the Andrews of the world, the people who are still like diehard Marvel cultists and their children, maybe. And God bless them. Like, watch all the Marvel you want. Enough that this saves the series? Probably not.
It's amazing how stupid the brand management has been over there. All you do is remove people from your audience pool, inflate your budgets, and then get upset when the people you've told this isn't for you don't watch.
I think the only thing on the slate for Marvel TV that I might give a chance to, because I'm curious, is Vision Quest. That's a very Mark thing. I enjoyed the Vision series, the Tom King Vision series. I'm curious. It was one of the few things that come out of the conclusion of WandaVision that I was still like, where are we going with this? What are we doing? But Vision Quest is something I still have somewhat of an interest in. Everything else can go fuck itself.
I don't even know what the other stuff is. Like that's where we are with this. Like, that's not just me personally. Like, I've seen nothing about it.
Another season of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which, like, the children
There was a first season of that?
Yeah, fucking Alexis tried to review it and she got abandoned. But
that should tell you everything you need to know about it.
Second season of X-Men, which I didn't care about. I know there were 80.
X-Men 95.
Yeah, there were 87 people on that podcast. I could give a fuck less. Second season of Daredevil.
Okay, I didn't watch Rebirth. I didn't watch Reborn, so I'm clearly not in on this one.
That's all I can remember outside of Vision Quest.
So yeah, Ellen Wonder Man. So yeah, that's just where we are, I guess. And Marvel is just desperately hoping that the $1 billion they're pouring into Doomsday is going to save things. It's not.
All right, next week is Send Help. That'll be the number one movie of that weekend. That actually is looking pretty good.
Yep.
We are skipping.
Sam Raimi. Hey, James Gunn, by the way, you useless dickhead. Let Sam Raimi make his Batman movie instead of Muschietti and whatever Broad wrote frickin' Flash and Batgirl and Birds of Prey.
I'm still working on that TikTok. I have to sit down and actually fiddle my way through what you sent me. We are skipping the week of the 9th to do The Rip, The Wrecking Crew, and Roofman. And then we're back on the 16th with Crime 101.
I saw the trailer for Wrecking Crew, by the way.
You're welcome.
I regret, Mark.
You're welcome.
I'm not happy about this.
I don't know what to say except you're welcome. Crime 101 will probably be the number one movie of that weekend.
I sure hope so.
And then Psycho Killer comes out leading into the week of the 23rd. Hard to say if that's going to, I mean, like, it's hard to say if that's going to be the number one movie of the weekend or not. But, like, we are in a constant rotation of number ones.
That's going to depend on how good Crime 101 is. If Crime 101 is really good, it might hold on. Otherwise, yeah, some of those niche stuff like Psycho Killer can actually break through on occasion. So
March brings us Scream 7, Hoppers, The Bride, Project Hail Mary, and Ready or Not.
That's all about Hail Mary. The rest of it's just kind of there.
Well, I was going to say, I think Scream might actually hold on because I don't think anyone gives a shit about Hoppers. In fact, here's the thing. Hoppers, The Bride, and Scream 7 are all going to be in a fight for number one, and it might end up being either The Bride or Scream 7 in its second week. And it'll be whatever that is for 2 weeks straight. And then, Project Hail Mary will be the number one movie of its weekend, and it'll probably retain carrying us through the end of March. And that's as far as I'll go with that. The Oscars came out. The nominees came out. And we did good.
We need to talk Oscars.
Right.
Academy.
So before this goes any further, let me quick read this because it's something else I want to do really quick. So the best pictures were The Secret Agent, Begonia, Maudie Supreme, Train Dreams, F1, Sentimental Value, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Sinners. We reviewed everything that except for Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent we reviewed already. We are not reviewing until our Oscar show, The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value. We always miss two, and one of them's always a foreign picture.
Both of those are foreign.
Yeah, that's right. Sentimental Value is also foreign, but I think Sentimental Value is actually in English. The Secret Agent is not. Either way, The Secret Agent is available tomorrow on PVOD. Sentimental Value is currently PVOD, and everything else is either streaming or on PVOD, presently speaking, or went straight to Netflix.
Okay, hang on. Let me do my thing here real fast.
Yeah, I was actually just going to pitch it over to you.
Dear Academy, I hope you are surrounded by amorous buffalo with low standards. How dare you?
What is it with raping by animals going on in this show?
Jason introduced it. Now I have several ones that I've heard kicking around in my head.
That's
Don't
what
make me use. I got a worse one. I actually do have a worse one.
This is what gets you going, huh? This is how you like it? All right.
No, continue. But I've heard a lot of insults over the course of my life, and some of them involve animals and bestiality.
The show has taken the best of turns.
So the Academy, in its infinite stupidity, decided not to nominate for Best Picture, maybe the best movie of the entire year.
Wallace and Gromit?
No. That was nominated for the last years. They completely snubbed out, in all categories, Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice.
Yeah.
South Korean film. It is probably the best movie of the year.
Did you?
I finally got around to watching it. It would have been my number one.
Okay.
Easily.
Where is it available?
Let me check.
If you say Shudder, I'm gonna scream.
It's still in theaters.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's fully available PVOD yet. But yeah, it is tremendous. Lee Byung-hun is a great actor. I've been a fan of his for a long time. Park Chan-wook is what everyone thinks Bong Joon-ho is, a very, very good director. And for them to completely ignore it in favor of let's give Sinners 16 nominations or F1, you are rapidly, to the extent that the Oscars still have any credibility, this is the kind of stuff that removes it. That was, hands down, I thought, the best movie for that voting period. It is great. See it. It's tremendous. It's dark. It's funny. It's, again, Park Chan-wook is an excellent filmmaker. Look up his stuff if you've never seen it before. Thank me later. He's great. That's a great movie. There's any number of those 10 that were nominated that I would knock off. I would kick almost any one of those off individually for
one battle after another.
Yeah, that, Sinners, again, F1, there's several of them that could easily be removed from that.
If we could have a human conversation for just a minute.
Sure.
I was a little shocked just because of what happened last year. Nothing for Wicked this year. The Wicked seems to have largely been forgotten. Were there any surprises on the list? Like, because we talked about what's probably going to be on there. I mean, we did an entire triple feature for the sole purposes of, well, one of these has got to be on there, and Train Dreams ended up being it. But yeah, no Jay Kelly, no House of Dynamite.
If you're talking about surprises just in Best Picture, again, the exclusion of
that's
no
all
other
I've talked
choice.
about so far. So yes, that's what the conversation's about.
Excluding No Other Choice was the big one for me. The inclusion of F1 came a little bit out of left field.
Yeah, I was almost like, we don't have a Top Gun Maverick on here. Well, do we have any Top Gun Mavericks? Yes, F1. Oh, okay, we'll throw that on the list.
I don't think Sinners is Best Picture material.
I was shocked Avatar wasn't on there. Because again, Way of the Water.
I wasn't, because Fire and Ash isn't as good. It's not super complicated. I think that was it as far as like potential surprises. Again, them just ignoring South Korea. It felt like they gave, Parasite a Best Picture and then went, well, that's our one for the decade, so no more South Korean pictures get nominated, and it's a giant shame.
Well, they usually pick at least one or two foreign movies to put on the Best Picture list nowadays to try to be more cosmopolitan and international. So I'll be curious, once you've watched The Secret Agent and Sentimental Value, and it's hard to move you off a mountain once you've climbed to the top of it, but I will be curious to hear your thoughts as a compare and contrast once we get to that point. In any case, that show is going to be sometime in April. When is the fucking...
I don't know.
That's because it's on a Thursday. Our Oscar nom show will be on March 5th. So we will have two Damn You Hollywoods in the same week. The same week of Scream 7, we will be also doing the Oscar nom show on a Thursday. Hey, one of those.
That's where we make our predictions, and we all get to point and laugh at each other.
Yeah. So with that said, turned on the.
Want to go through the other categories?
Yeah. I'm headed there now. Okay, so Best Actor: Michael B. Jordan, Timothée Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, Wagner Moura, and Ethan Hawke. Any surprises there?
No surprises. There is, I feel, a pretty gross miscategorization going on. Stellan Skarsgård is nominated in Best Supporting Actor in a leading role. He should be in this category, not Best Supporting, my opinion.
Okay.
I also would not have put DiCaprio there, but that's just me. I
don't agree with that.
I made my case when we reviewed the movie. We don't need to relitigate it.
Correct.
A little surprised Ethan Hawke. Little surprised. Not horribly, but
what did he get nominated for?
You just read it. I forget what it was.
The Secret Agent, Begonia, Marty Supreme, Train Dreams, F1, Sentimental Value, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Sinners.
No, that's Best Picture. You were reading Best Actor.
Yes, and I asked you, what movie did he get nominated for?
I couldn't remember.
Because it wasn't the fucking Black Phone, now was it?
No, it wasn't. Hang on. We'll find it.
All right, while you're doing that, Best Actress is Emma Stone, because that's the yearly tradition. Rose Byrne,
even though she doesn't deserve it.
Jessie Buckley, who should win this thing hands down. Renee Rensev.
It's her. This is a 2-horse race. It's either Jessie Buckley or Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You.
Okay. It's on my list of things to watch, by the way, is If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. Kate Hudson, and that's Best Actress. Again, I would be surprised if Jessie Buckley doesn't get that. That seems pretty obvious to me. Chloe Zhao for Best Director. Ryan Coogler, Best Director. Joaquin Trier for Best Director. Josh Safdie, Paul Thomas Anderson. Because Hollywood has no courage, it'll end up going to Paul Thomas Anderson. Who should it go to?
It should not go to Paul Thomas Anderson, but he's kind of due, so he might get like the gimme one
Maybe
this year.
If I were on the voting committee, and so this is subjective, okay? This is my opinion, because at some point that's what this comes down to is preference. I think Chloe Zhao should get it hands down.
I would go with Chloe Zhao. Hang on, Ethan Hawke is in there for Blue Moon.
Okay.
If you don't want to go with Chloe Zhao, you could go with Joaquin Trier for Sentimental Value.
Best International Feature Film, The Secret Agent. It Was Just an Accident. What's the movie that you're going crazy for?
It's not here. Keep going. It's not on this list at all. Again, that's why I'm pissed.
Gotcha. Sharat, The Voice of Hind Rajab, and Sentimental Value. I assume this is going to go to The Secret Agent.
Probably.
Yeah. Best Animated Feature, Arco, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, Elio, Zootopia 2. I want to be the lobbyist for Disney that gets 2 of their fucking movies on the animated.
There's no way, there's no reason for Elio to be here at all.
There's no reason for fucking Zootopia to be on here.
No, there isn't. Like, none whatsoever. This should go to K-Pop Demon Hunters. And frankly, you should cut one of those 2 and nominate the Demon Slayer movie.
Sure. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I don't have anything to add to that statement. All right. Best Supporting Actress, Tiana Taylor, go fuck yourself. Amy Madigan, Wunmi Mosaku, Elle Fanning, and Ingba Ibs' daughter Lilius. I just don't want Tiana Taylor to win. Give it to Amy Madigan. She seems fine.
My pick would be Amy Madigan, but Inga does real good work.
Okay. Best Original Song, Train Dreams, Dear Me, Golden, I Lied to You, and Sweet Dreams of Joy. Probably for a moment of levity and whatnot is Golden.
It should be Golden objectively, and then everyone will melt down going, but Sinners!
Yeah, I'm not anxious to hear Alexis's opinion on that. Best Supporting Actor, Delroy Lindo, Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Sean Penn, Stellan Skarsgård. I'm going Jacob Elordi here.
This should pretty easily be Jacob Elordi, in my opinion.
Best Original Screenplay, It Was Just an Accident, by God. Blue Moon, Marty Supreme, Sinner, Sentimental Value. I'm going with Marty Supreme.
I would go with Marty Supreme, but if they're going to give Sinners one of these, it's probably this one.
Best Original Score, Begonia, Sinners, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another. In a fair world,
the other one Sinners might win.
I was going to say, in a fair world, it's Frankenstein. In the world we currently live in, the worst timeline, it's Sinners.
Yeah, probably.
I'm skipping Best Documentary. Best Adapted Screenplay, Begonia, Train Dreams, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another.
Hamnet. Ugh. This should be Hamnet pretty easily.
Maybe Hamnet or Frankenstein, one of the 2. Either way.
I'm of the opinion that Hamnet is a better finished product as it relates to the original. But you're right. Like, it's those 2. Watch this go to One Battle After Another, despite it being a terrible adaptation of the material, both thematically and literally.
Best Cinematography, Marty Supreme. Are you fucking kidding me? Marty Supreme. Train Dreams, Sinners, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another. And if this doesn't go to Train Dreams, there is no justice.
There isn't, and it should. Yeah, Marty Supreme shouldn't be here. I feel like they just threw a bunch of, like, what are the ones we're all going to just go for? And then they just, like, parsed out which technical awards went to the ones that they thought were the best. Not on their own merits, because, again, Marty Supreme shouldn't be here at all.
All right, Best Visual Effects. Jurassic World Rebirth, Suck My Dick.
Yep.
The Lost Bus. The Lost Bus. Rob has never agreed to suck my dick more than just now.
I never agreed with the sentiment. I am not going to perform fellatio.
That was what was inferred, sir. I don't know what a propriety Sorry.
You imply, I infer.
Heavens to Betsy. F1, Sinners, Avatar, Fire and Ash.
It's Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar will get it. F1 should get it just on this list alone.
I'm actually not sure about that. Like F1, we're talking about visual effects, not practical.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like purely the visual stuff, Avatar is still like, for all my faults with that movie, the effects are still gold standard.
Best costume: Marty Supreme, Sinners, Frankenstein, Avatar, Hamnet. Hamnet?
This feels like Hamnet or Sinners.
Watch Sinners get fucking shut out across the board.
You know what? I'm hoping just for the meltdowns.
Just for the lulls.
Yes, I'm not even kidding about it. Like, watch those people just melt down. Everyone who's made that movie their entire personality, they're insufferable.
Best film editing: Marty Supreme, F1, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, F1.
That or Sentimental Value.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Neither do I, but I can't remember the editing in particular for these, so I'm just kind of throwing that one out there.
Okay. Best production design: Marty Supreme, Sinners, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another.
Frankenstein,
though it'll probably go to Sinners.
Probably, but that should go to Frankenstein. Almost walking away.
Best makeup and hairstyling: The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, Sinners, Frankenstein, Kuho. Just for the sentimental value, I want The Smashing Machine to win this.
You know, if there was another exclusion for Best Actor, you know, The Rock not getting a nom did feel.
Yeah,
you could have put him in there.
That feels like a snub to me.
Almost certainly.
Best sound: Sherrod, F1, Sinners, Frankenstein, and One Battle After Another.
F1, easily for best sound design.
All right. Well, that's the Oscars. That's the weekend that was. That was the never-ending story. That was the way we were. Hey, did I tell you I finished my Fra Diavolo Valentine's Day album?
No, you didn't. What's it called?
Cyrano de Bechamel. What?
Okay.
So it's covers of sappy 70s and early 80s love ballads done metal style. I would love to hear the songs that you chose. Well, here we go, Robert. I always aim to please.
I was going to say you should have inverted that, where it's metal songs done in the style of sappy song ballads, because you're going for, if you're going to play on Cyrano de Bergerac, it has to be the metal transition to the acoustic predilections of the female gender.
So here's the songs that I picked. Can You Read My Mind by Maureen McGovern.
Don't know it, but okay.
It's from Superman.
Haven't seen it. It hasn't come across my mind in forever, so no, I don't know it off the top of my head.
Let's try it this and then I'm moving on. It's the bit where Christopher Reeve is flying around Margot Kidder and she's literally doing Can You Read My Mind as they're flying around.
Not helping, but okay. I trust your choices.
I hope they deport you back to Portugal. Don't Know Much by Linda Ronstadt.
I've heard that my mother is now freaking out, having heard me express my lack of familiarity with some of these songs.
How Am I Supposed to Live Without You by Laura Branigan.
That I have heard.
Okay. You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone.
Yes, I've heard that one.
I did that as a Christian metal song, by the way.
That tracks.
And finally, we ended off with one that I'm hoping gets my father to deport me back to Italy where I belong. The Way We Were by Barbra Streisand.
You know, I've never actually heard that song.
You've never heard The Way We Were? I should make you do a triple feature actor focus on Barbra Streisand movies.
As long as we start with What's Up, Doc.
I'm thinking Yentl, The Way We Were, and maybe Beaches.
That's a terrible lineup. I don't care. Her music's never appealed to me, so I've never gone out of my way to hear it.
Never appealed to most straight men, but I grew up in a house where my father fucking loved her. Go figure.
Speaking of not straight men.
You leave my father out of this.
He's never going to hear this anyway.
It's true. They'll complain that we're too negative. Anyway, you heard one podcast and they'll never listen to another one. That's my father for you. Why is Mark so bitter? Anyway, speaking of bitter, here it is, the critical review. I should do this in order.
Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Let's do it for the lulz.
That's about right.
21% on the tomato meter, 82% pop. Yeah, God, bad me. 82% on the fan meter. Top
sure,
critics,
Grace Randolph loved it.
I'm sure. Top critics brings it to 24. All audiences drops it to 75.
That's more accurate, I think.
Yeah. Constricting its 2 stars inside an airless presentation of a clunky techno thriller premise, Mercy is tedious enough to make you cry, uncle.
You know what? Hang on. I think I mentioned it briefly, but let me say it again. In defense of this movie, it actually is just 90 minutes. God bless it for not overstaying its welcome.
Yeah. I don't want to read any of these people. How about that? Let's see. Here we go. What was that?
So you want to do the podcast, Mark, or you just want to scroll?
Yes. The future ex-Mrs. Robert Winfrey, Carla Renata, the curvy film critic. Oh, we haven't heard from this wife in a while. Mercy is art imitating life in unimaginable ways, but a roller coaster ride of epic proportions, keeping audiences on their toes. She has Carla Renata, your wife, has, or future ex-wife, has an astounding lack of imagination.
Lack of memory, too.
Yeah, for a film critic. Where are Robert's wives? Where are you?
I could say something when you ask that question, but I'm not going to.
Thelma? Who the fuck is Thelma?
Okay.
Where have you gone, Arsenio Hall? Woo! Thelma Adams of AARP Movies for Grown-Ups.
So she might get your reference.
She might. It's sleuthing by scrolling with a life hanging in the balance. Pratt handles the role well enough, and it's a tense ride.
It's not.
You just hope it doesn't come to this in real life. Oh, good
How
Lord.
stupid do you have to be to think we're anywhere close to this in real life? Like, you have to be the most echo-chambered, paranoid, like, go touch grass, go talk to people. We are so far away from the giant number of civil rights violations that go on in this movie taking place in reality that it's not even funny.
Sarah Michelle Fetters of MovieFreak.com. At least it's funny. I do have to give Mercy that.
No, you don't.
What about this was funny?
I mean, as a joke played on the audience, I can see like you grifted me out of my money. But
speaking of grifting people out of money, Nell Minow of Movie Mom. The last part of the movie gets overcomplicated, cutting some logical corners. But Pratt is, as always, a likable presence, and we want to see him prove that he is innocent, and that, at least for now, humans can still outthink machines.
Humans can't outthink machines under limited framework structures because they're just better at collating data. It's not that complicated. Why do computers beat humans at chess? Because humans think about concepts, and a machine just plays the moves that are most likely to lead. Go back up. Richard Rofer was positive about this. I saw that.
I have won more bets just picking my own bets than I have depending on when I ask the AI for help.
Well, again, you don't actually have an AI. You feed it into an LLM and then ask it to help. And
Well, I asked the. Never mind. I don't want to get into all this with you. You, especially you, Mister Judgy about my betting habit. Richard, who the fuck is Thelma? Richard Roper, RogerEbert.com. By the halfway mark of the screen popping and kinetic, but ultimately tiresome and borderline dopey AI thriller Mercy, I found myself yearning for a wireless mouse so I could log off.
Okay, that should not be a positive review because I was ready to tear into him, but that's not what.
There we go. The future Xmas is Robert Winfrey, Carla Hay of Culture Mix.
You'd think I'd learn to stop marrying Carlas at some point.
That was your takeaway? That Carlas and not black women? Good. I like where this is going.
I'm not as racist as you are, Mark.
Or that I keep insinuating you are. A mindless action flick where an accused murderer has 90 minutes to prove his... Lady, stop doing a plot synopsis.
Is this just an AI summary of the Wikipedia opening?
During a trial, there's a lot of yelling at video screens in this moronic movie. Viewers feel like yelling at the screen too, with all the stupidity on display.
You know what? She can eat tonight.
Speaking of he can eat tonight, Travis Hobson of Punch Drunk Critics. A misguided effort that doesn't warn of the dangers of AI in our justice system, but gives it a pass without much thought.
Yeah, again, there's a much better movie in here somewhere, even for like the mid-budget B+ quality of film, and this just misses the mark.
I think I'm done because I want to go to bed.
That's a reason to be done.
But I'm just curious to see if, okay. Black Robert Winfrey did not review this. He spared himself.
I wish I was Black Robert Winfrey for just a minute there, so I didn't have to review it either.
Wonderful.
And so, you know what? Just also so I could say the N-word once. I'd kind of like to once.
Get that particular monkey off your back. Literally.
Really? Of all the metaphors you could have chosen.
Yeah, that was not well thought out. Neither was this podcast. All right.
That's gonna be on my tombstone. Was not well thought out.
It was not well thought out. Yeah. So no podcast yesterday because I was drugged to a concert. But this Wednesday, the new season of Sessions is here, and this is where we're going to be compressing old podcasts into new songs, like we did with the bonus track. And we're also going to release them one by one because the band Vinyl Guy convinced me this is a good idea instead of compiling them into albums, because who the fuck listens to albums anymore?
Well, if the Vinyl Guy knows what he's talking about, then you should listen to him.
Well, it's not like we've had a conversation. It's just, can we talk for a minute? Because
I got a minute, sure.
Do you know how many versions of Ram It Up My Shitter I've had to hear because of this fella? He's not just doing dirty songs. He's doing the same dirty song, but in different styles.
Well, I didn't need to know about that.
I mean, I could have chosen any number of songs that he's repeated.
You could have.
I happen to have remembered that he's done repeated versions of Ram It Up My Shitter. Also, I kind of like to say that phrase because
that was a choice you made.
That was also going to be on your tombstone. Robert Winfrey, devoted brother, loving son. He made choices.
I feel bad for you having to listen to that many versions of that song then.
Anyway, he convinced me by virtue of his existence and the way that he does things to just release them once I'm done with them instead of waiting to do albums. So the first one is one of my favorite.
In a world of singles, Mark. No albums.
Yep, it's a dog eat dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
Bacon pants is the more preferred terminology there, but okay.
The line is from Cheers, and that's how the line goes. You don't know it, do you?
I've seen Cheers.
Maybe you don't know that line.
Again, I prefer the bacon one, but that's because I prefer bacon.
This was a terrible conversation, and I shouldn't have started it. Anyway.
We're just coming up with tombstone epitaphs left, right, and center tonight.
That is this whole fucking podcast. Why are they dead? Have you listened to their podcast?
Pick any line from this show, and it'll go on your tombstone just fine.
2 hours of fucking suicide notes.
Yeah, but it was just one, and it's mine, and I turned it into a novel.
And he turned it into a song
to be published posthumously.
No, Father, I don't want to be songed.
Wait, which of your kids said that to you? I forget.
That was Jonas.
There we go. I knew it was probably
Well,
him.
even so, this is even better. So Jesse introduced me to a Suno thing that you can do, where you can take two of the things that you've made, and you can do mashups of them.
Okay.
Okay. And so I did two of them over the weekend playing with this thing, and my son's like, "Did you cover yourself?" Like he was scolding me. He was like, "Did you cover yourself? Did you cover yourself? Like, answer me, young man. Did you cover yourself?" And I'm like, "I did. I did a mashup.
Not after a shower.
There was a button. It says it right here, mashup, and I did a mashup." And he was like, "Father, he called me Father. He said, Father, you've lost the plot." And I was like, he was like, "You should not be doing AI cover slop. AI. You should not be doing covers of your own AI slop." And I was like, "But I've covered somebody else's AI slop. Why can't I cover my own?" He was like, "No, that's the point. You're doing like an inception of AI slop." It's like,
you're creating a human centipede, is what you're creating.
That was the goal. Human centipede the world, baby.
Anyway,
so back to what we're doing. So we're gonna take Too Old to Die Young, one of my favorite podcasts that we've ever done, because you and Jesse were both on it, The Wise Men. And we're going to compress that into a song based on Billy Joel's Only the Good Die Young. If we finish that early, though, I will do a second version of like a funeral dirge, the way that you suggested.
And some like Gregorian monk funeral chants. Like
I will write. I thought about that. Like, we're probably going to get this done fast because like it's the mechanics of it have gotten that much better. Something Jesse and I actually talked about tonight before the show started. So we'll probably have time at the end to do a second version, and I will absolutely do like Gregorian monks.
I don't know exactly. Like I need to find like the appropriate funeral music for you that I think fits the tone of that podcast, because it's not just any funeral music. Like this is not just a funeral. Like this is this person's going to hell funeral. Like this is medieval fear. The unknown, fear you woeful sinner, for the state of your soul as you plummet into the abyss.
Have you ever heard the medieval music version cover of Black Sabbath songs?
Yeah, they're actually pretty good.
Right? All right. Moving on. And then Thursday, Kat, Sean, and I will be doing a triple feature. We're returning to John Waters because I am a sucker for a request by a pretty lady. So, because Kat requested it, we will be looking at Polyester, which is a terrible movie, by the way. It is cruel, it is terrible, and it made me not want to watch the next two. But I did. I watched Hairspray. That's because I'm a goddamn professional. And then I still have to watch Crybaby. But we are returning to John Waters. That's what we're doing. Polyester, Hairspray, and Crybaby.
And you're going to ask by the end of it, why can't I kill John Waters legally?
Last week, Jesse and I compared The War of the Roses. We reviewed 28 Days Later, The Bone Temple. Alexis reviewed Welcome to Derry. And then myself and Shay did a triple feature of musicals. We did Rock of Ages, Tommy, and Jesus Christ Superstar. Robert, show us where you piss from.
So I cover mixed martial arts and professional wrestling over at 411mania.com. WWE SmackDown on Fridays.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. UFC events on Saturdays. Last Saturday was one of the weaker SmackDowns of the last month, give or take. This one will be the go home show for the Rumble, which the Saudi slave labor force got the stadium built. So good for them and all the corpses that they've piled that upon.
Is it their own bone temple? Like they made the entire stadium out of American journalists?
They probably could have. So
and some of those journalists sacrifice themselves. Like, please, for liberalism. Ah.
So there's that. So I'll be covering that on Friday. UFC was back finally. UFC 3.
I can't wait for the fucking AI to read this transcript. What the fuck?
It's not going to know what to do with it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
UFC 324 was on Saturday. I covered that. And you know what, Paramount, for your $1.1 billion a year, your kickoff gave you the full UFC experience. You had someone almost die making weight. You had a fight canceled for suspicious betting line movement. You got several crappy fights. A main event that delivered because Justin Gaethje could not be in a boring fight if he tried. And something that passes for a heavyweight prospect on the prelims, dropping a bad pro wrestling promo and casual bigotry. You got it all. This is MMA in 2026.
Here comes the gravy pipe.
So I'm holding back judging too much some of the production choices they made here because this was their big kickoff for War on Paramount, and I want to see if they have the same problems with UFC 325. If they do, then I've got issues and grievances to air. If not, then I'll happily admit this is a one-off and I can live with it.
Robert Winfrey has issues and grievances. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
With some of the UFC's choices, yes, I do. If you want more details on that, still waiting on a couple of the technical things to get sorted out for the 411 Ground and Pound MMA podcast to return. I'm moderately optimistic. Either by the end of this month or start of the next one, we should be good to go. So we'll see. There's still a few things that have to get sorted out for that. But there's a decent chance that returns to being a live broadcast once that's up because it saves me time having to save and upload, and uploading is a pain in the butt. So, Mark, you watch MMA again, you might. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't put you through that.
I have Paramount Plus, and no reason for me not to watch it.
You watched the main event, I take it.
I watched whatever the first fight was. So it was like basketball had just ended. I'd lost yet another bet, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch the UFC. Watched one fight, passed out, and that was that.
The main event's worth looking up. The John Silva fight and Arnold Allen fight's okay.
Well, I might be interested in doing a dalliance and return to talking about UFC again. Now that I can watch it for free on Paramount Plus.
I'm just gonna warn you that the broadcast is still 6+ hours long. There are even more ads because Paramount has to recoup the $1.1 billion they're giving the UFC every year. Somehow.
Shakur's fighting this weekend, isn't he?
I don't know. I'd have to double check.
I think so.
But yeah, the Royal Rumble will be. Yeah, the Royal Rumble is like Saturday morning, because they're in Saudi Arabia. So
that's fucked up my entire weekend. When I realized what that was, because I was like, I was gonna get my kids early. Like I have a dentist appointment and everything, so like I was like, oh, I'll go get my dentist appointment. I'll go get my kids. We'll get back. We'll get some food. We'll relax. We'll watch the Royal Rumble at 7 o'clock. Oh my God, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're in because they're in Saudi, so that's where that is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't have coverage of that because that's the same day as UFC 325. And I think there's going to be a bit too much overlap for me to be able to do both. But I will be covering UFC 325, which I don't like the main event because I don't think Diego Lopez deserves another shot at the belt. But that's the whole thing. And I don't want to get into it because we've been going for 2 hours and Mark doesn't care.
All right, so I'm trying to find this Teofimo Lopez Shakur fight. Is it Shakur?
Yeah. SHAKUR. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, he's fighting Teo. I know that is the next fight. I don't know when.
It should be this weekend. And I'm looking, and I don't see. Oh, I was in the wrong spot. 6 o'clock on DAZN, Ring 6, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. All right, I'll have to watch that after. I got to do a DAZN pay-per-view, motherfucker. Boo. All right, folks. Enough of me talking about anything but this movie. For Robert Winfrey, good to his mother.
I try.
Friend to all the black women.
Well, that remains to be seen.
And for me, I'm...
If I were a friend to them, I would not have this many divorces under my belt.
Fair. That is a fair point. And me, I'm just passive-aggressive. Be well, be safe, and behave.